So in this lesson, we are going to add and subtract. We're going to perform addition and subtraction, and it's going to involve integers. So numbers such as 1, 2, 3, and -1, -2, you know, like simple positive and negative numbers, so to speak. Okay, so before we start, I want you to think about it in this way. You'll have a number. You'll have an addition or subtraction sign, adding or subtracting, and there will be another number. Or a digit, we'll say. You'll know what I mean when we do it. So this first digit or number tells you where to start. This first number tells you where to start. This number, right, or this adding or subtracting will tell you whether you're going to the right or left. Okay, and then this number will tell you how, like, many times. So how many units? So the number of times. This will make a lot more sense once we do it. It's not very complicated. So let's start with normal, like, addition that you've done since elementary school. So we know that 2 plus 3 is obviously 5. So in order to show this, let's create or fill out some of this number line, -1, -2. So here, this is where we start. So we start at +2. Start at +2. And then this plus sign will tell us that we're going to I'll put R for right instead. We're going to the right 3 times. So 1, 2, 3. Remember, we count the number of times we move. 1 space, 2 space, 3 space. So 3, 4, 5. And so we start at 2. We start at 2. We go right 3 times. We start at 2. We go right 3 units. Let's do it again. So this time we're going to start at 5. So this is where we start. And this means we're going to go left. We're going left 3 times. 3 times. So let's make our number line. 0, 1, 2, -1, -2, -3. So we start at 5. So I'm going to go to 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. Start at 5, and I'm going left 3 times. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Always put the arrowhead so I know which direction you're going, because some of you don't put this little dot, and it just helps. So make sure to put the little arrowhead. So 1, 2, 3. We end up at 2. And we know that 5 minus 3 is 2. It makes sense. We have -3 plus 5. Remember, we start with -3. And then we go right 5 units. So let's create our number line. 0, 1, 2, -1, -2, -3. So we start at -3. And we go right 5 units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So -3 plus 5 is +2. So we start at -3, we go right 5. Last one. And this one we start at, well, this number we start at -4. We go left 3 times, 3 units. So 0, 1, 2, -1, -2, -3, -4. So we start at -4. And we go left 3 times. 1, 2, 3. So -5, -6, -7. So we end up with -7. Okay, let's go to the second part of this. So we're going to add and subtract using a diagram. Basically, we're going to use this thing called zero pairs. So 2 plus 3, once again, we know that this is 5. We know that this is 5. Now, normally, well, I'm going to have you think about it like this. I'm going to have you box each term. So positive 2 plus 3. If it helps, you can put the plus there. So we have positive 2. So instead of writing positive 2, I'm going to write plus 1 plus 1. Instead of plus 3, I'm going to write plus 1 plus 1 plus 1. If I have plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1, we'll see what happens. So in this one, we have 12. We have 2 positive. I kind of shortened this. This really is supposed to say positive 1s, but that kind of sounds like too much. So I'm just going to say you have 2 positives. See 2 positive signs? And you have 3 positive signs. And then together, when you put them together, well, I'm not going to circle it yet, but when you put all these together, like so, you get positive 5. Positive 5. Let's do it again. This one, we have 6 minus 2, which we know is 4. So I have 6 positive 1s and 2 negative 1s. So remember that I'm going to have 6 positives, so to speak, and 2 negative 1s. So 6 positives. So plus, instead of writing plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1, I'm just going to write plus sign. 1 plus 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we have minus 1, minus 1. So if I have plus 1, minus 1, I get 0. If I have plus 1, minus 1, I get 0. These are called zero pairs. And then all that I'm left with is plus 1, plus 1, plus 1, plus 1. So positive 4, which was our answer. We have 3 minus 7. So let's go ahead. I have positive 3 and negative 7. So I have plus 1, plus 1, plus 1. I have 3 positive 1s. And I have 7 negative 1s. So minus 1, minus 1, minus 1, minus 1, minus 1, minus 1, minus 1. So I have 7 negative 1s. So plus 1 minus 1 is 0. Plus 1 minus 1 is 0. Plus 1 minus 1 is 0. I end up with 4 negative 1s. So negative 4. Negative 4. So 3 positive 1s and 7 negative 1s combined to make negative 4. Negative 1 plus 5. So negative 1, positive 5. So I have 1 negative 1, I guess, and 5 positive 1s. So I have 1 negative 1 and 5 positive 1s. Remember, these are plus 1s. It starts to look confusing when we have too much going on. So a negative 1 and a positive 1 give me 0. And then I have 4 positive 4 left over, or remaining. So 1 positive 1 and 5 negative 1s combined to make 4 positive 4. 3 more to go, but this isn't too bad. So negative 6 plus 2. So we have 6 negative 1s and 2 positive 1s. 6 negative 1s, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 2 positive 1s. So negative 1, positive 1, and negative 1, positive 1, 0. So we have 4 negatives, so negative 4. So 6 negative 1s and 2 positive 1s equals 4 negative or negative 4 negative 1s, which is negative 4. Okay, we have negative 4 minus 5. So we have a negative 4 and we have a negative 5. So we have 4 negative 1s. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we have 5 negative 1s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now if we look at this, if we try to, like negative 1, negative 1, that doesn't make 0. It has to be negative 1, positive 1, negative 1, positive 1, or positive 1, negative 1, positive 1, negative 1. But in this case, we only have negative 1, 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 negative 1. So we can't cross anything out. So we are left with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 negatives. So negative 9 negative 1s, which is negative 9. Okay, so we have negative 3 and negative 2, or negative 3 minus 2. So negative 3 minus 2, which means 3 negative 1s and 2 negative 1s. So 3 negative 1s and 2 negative 1s. Once again, we can't cross anything out. We don't have any 0 pairs because we would need positives also, but we only have negative 1s. So we have negative 1, negative 1, negative 1, negative 1, negative 1. So we have negative, let me make it a little nicer, negative 5. So negative 3 minus 2 is negative 5. So 3 negative 1s and 2 negative 1s makes 5 negatives, or negative 5. That is it. Thank you.